Welcome to the Truth to Faith podcast. I'm your host, Cliff Stephen. We got a special guest today. We're going to start with John 8:32, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I'm very excited. Today we have David Weiss. How you doing, David?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. And yes, the truth will set you free.
Amen, brother. So I don't want to start on a negative point, but I have to bring it up. I rewatched the debate with you and Professor Dave, and I just want to say you handled yourself so well. You didn't stoop to his level. He, he just called you names as, these people who make science their faith. He just insulted you. He couldn't, you tried finding common ground, and he couldn't just speak like an adult and try to have a civil conversation. He just constantly put you down. He called you a 5-year-old, but yet he was acting like a 5-year-old. So I just want to give you kudos.
Yeah, thank you. And don't insult 5-year-olds. Okay, that wasn't very nice.
Yeah, right.
And the funny thing is, he's not a professor. He's a failed musician, and he just calls himself excuse me, calls himself professor. And there's a video put out by the channel Mindshock. It's in my app, under the Debunking the Debunkers section, where he does a analysis from a neutral standpoint, not flat or globe, on who's using more logical fallacies and ad hominems. And Professor Dave got almost 300, and I got like 5 because I think I was telling him stop being, stop being, and I called him a bad name or something. So it's very interesting. It's a lot of people that are just very weak-minded will watch something like that and they'll be like, oh my God, and they won't think about what's being said. They'll just listen to attitude and facial expressions, and they'll go by, oh, well, he's a professor, who's this Dave Weiss guy? So, and then of course, YouTube will feed you that video anytime you're searching for anything. But the thing is, that video has woken up a lot of people that I couldn't reach, because there's people out there that will only watch anti-flat earth stuff. And you can call that an anti-flat earth video at this point, but they'll watch it and then they'll reach out to me and they'll be like, hey, I'm not a flat earther or anything, but I watched that video. Why did he act like that? And then that gives me the opportunity to send them some other videos to watch. I'm like, here, this is why. And I'll send them, depending on what they said in their email, some stuff. And then I usually get an email back within a day or two going, oh my God, this flat earth thing is real. So, there's a good side to everything.
Absolutely. So on my journey, I was a truther, and my friend was talking about flat earth, because of the programming. I was like, dude, I know the government, has, they traffic children and all this stuff, but I couldn't wrap my mind around the flat earth because of the programming. And then I heard you on the Flat Earth Files with George Hobbs. And that really, I was like, wait, maybe there is truth to this.
Yeah.
And then my friend showed me the video of the GoPro rocket, and it hit in the firmament. And, I had a spiritual awakening where I actually was in the presence of God. I had left his house, and I was surrounded by this bright light, and I knew I was in the presence of God. So I know the flat earth topic is a big deal, and I just want to say thank you. You also helped me lead. You helped me lead me to that. So I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
So where would you like to start? Like, what for people who may not believe the earth is flat, like, what are your 3? Could you give me 3 reasons or 3 of your main topics that you believe the earth is flat?
I'm always asked that question, and it's different for everybody. If you're talking to somebody that's faith-based, they might want to hear some of the biblical stuff. But if you're talking to somebody that's not faith-based, that biblical stuff might scare them away. So, it's different for everybody. I just like to start out by asking people what they know about the globe. Do they know how fast it's spinning at the equator? And they don't. It's supposedly 1,000 miles an hour. They know how fast it's orbiting the sun. And nope, they don't. It's 66,600 miles an hour. Do they know the tilt? They don't know how fast the sun is moving. They don't know any of these things. And then I point out, I'm like, do you feel any of those motions? Do you sense any of that? And I go, before you answer, I know that you can drink a glass of water on an airplane and go to the bathroom, because that's what they're programmed to say. Because I was programmed to say that. But I say, if you want to compare the speed of the flight of an airplane to just the spinning of the Earth, which is the slowest of the motions, you have to double the speed of the airplane, because they only go 500 miles an hour. So you're going to go 1,000. You have to remove the outer shell of the airplane, because there's no outer shell over the globe holding the air in. And then you have to nosedive at a mile a minute just to follow the curve. Right. And I go, then tell me how your water's doing and how your trip to the bathroom's going, because you probably didn't make it to the bathroom. And, and I start there, so I'll give you a couple of my favorites. And the one is that we can see too far on a globe, on a ball, no matter what size it is, soccer ball, beach ball, earth ball, there is curvature, physical curvature. If it's a ball, it has physical curvature. And there is a formula for each circumference of a ball that'll tell you how far the horizon should drop if you're standing upright on top of the ball and you go out at whatever distance. And on our 24,901 mile around fictitious Earth ball, the formula is 8 inches per mile squared, because as you go out, it drops faster and faster as you run a tangent off of your feet. So at 3 miles, there's a 6-foot drop. So a 6-foot tall person standing at the edge of perfectly calm water or perfectly flat land, which is harder to find, with no atmospheric interference, should only be able to see a maximum of 3 miles. And then the Earth surface would be hidden behind a physical curve. This is a geometric fact. It's not a theory. It's not a flat earther argument. This is just a demonstrable physical fact of the world. And weather conditions, fog, atmospheric refraction, whatever, could only shorten that distance. If you sit down, it's shorter. Stand up, you can see farther. Sit down, you can only see like 2 miles, 1.2 miles. And it could only become less. It can never become more. Even if you had the Hubble telescope to zoom in, you can't zoom in beyond a physical barrier. So that's the requirements of a ball. On a flat Earth, the horizon is what I call your horizontal eye zone, eye zone. Okay? And that is a apparent location. It isn't a physical location. It's just the limit of your vision. And there's many, many documented observations. You can do them yourself where we can see things too far. For example, when you're down at the water level, the air is thick and moist, and it gets kind of miragey. When I say miragey, I don't mean mirage is lifting things up from behind a curve and making them look like they're in front of you when they're not. I mean, it just reflects the sky and hides the very small things due to perspective that are beyond that reflection. But up high, the air is clearer and thinner, and you can see much farther. And there's a recent picture taken off of a low mountain where they can see 8 other mountains over 700 miles away. Well, using the curvature math and accounting for their observer height, the tops of those mountains that can clearly be seen should be over 40 miles below a physical curve. 40 miles. That's a long ways. Yeah. And they're not. They're visible. They're right there. End of story. Game over. Done. Okay? But the Globers will just go, no, that's refraction. Look, you go to this model here on this debunking site, and you put in your distance, you put in your height, and then you just turn the refraction magic slider up to the point where you can see. And then that's how much refraction there is. That's ridiculous. Dumbest thing ever. Okay? Nothing comes up from behind a hidden physical barrier and magically appears crystal clear in front of you. Doesn't happen. So that's it right there. Earth is flat. We can see too far. Then I go, now it's your turn. What's your globe proof? And they go, where's a picture of the edge of your flat Earth? And I'm like, that's your globe proof? That's a question about my flat Earth. Where's your globe proof? Well, photos of Earth. Can you pick one? Well, there's millions of them. Can you point to one specifically that you're willing to stand behind? And they will never do it because there are none.
Yeah.
NASA admits all of our favorite photos are painted, photoshopped. They're not real images, they're composites. So, right there, photos of Earth, water lies flat when at rest. Large bodies of water lie flat. What about a drop of water, Dave? A drop of water is not a large body of water. Anything bigger than a cup of water or gallon, because there's a little surface
Yeah.
tension on a cup of water. You can kind of fill a cup a little high so it has a little surface tension, but you can't do that with a swimming pool or a lake or an ocean. That's it. Earth is flat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the experiment you did it, I believe, in your kitchen. You had a string,
Yep.
and you had the light that was supposed to be the sun, and you showed how it just looks like it's setting, but it's actually just going around. Could you talk about that a little bit?
That was one where I literally was a God inspired video. I was like, I think I want to do a perspective thing. I had no idea what I was doing. And I set it up and I had the cameras, I had the tripods, I had everything. I had all the equipment. I was like, I need something to be the sun. And I found this ornament that we had. And I taped a flashlight to it. And I'm like, that looks like the sun, right?
Yeah.
And then so I did a celestial, an elevated view, like from the height of the sun, of what that line looks like, and it's a straight level line. And then I did I filmed it from a terrestrial point of view, a camera on the counter, and it looked like that was going straight down, at a 45-degree or steeper angle, just like we see the sun. Looks like it's going down, and it's all due to perspective. When you're on the water, when you're on the water, I live on Long Island Sound, and we're out on the water, and I'm looking just a couple miles away, and the tops of the tree lines look like they're at my eye level. Well, I know those trees are on a hill, and those trees are 150 feet tall also. So that's hundreds of feet above my eye level, but it looks like it's at my eye level. So think about this. It's noon. Sun's directly above you, and you're standing out in the street, and there's a 10-story building right across the street, and the sun is traveling away towards the building. You'll watch it, and then all of a sudden the building will eclipse it, and the sun will disappear behind the building. Now now that you can't see the sun's not below the horizon if you believe you live on a ball. It's just beyond that building. It's just beyond the building. And if the building disappeared, we can pretend it's 9/11, 2001, and the building just falls into its footprint. And there is the sun all of a sudden. So that's very easy. Now, think about that building 2 miles away from you. The top of that building will look like it's at eye level.
Yeah.
The sun, which is way above that, will just go beyond that building and will get eclipsed. But you'll think it's going below a physical curve. And it's all how our perspective azimuthal grid of vision works.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I love that video when I seen it. I mean, you captured it perfect. And so I just wanted to talk about that. But what is your opinion on the Flat Earth Society? Obviously, we know it's disinformation, but what's your opinion on it?
Flat Earth, I mean, I never go there. It's just a disinformation site. We don't know who runs it, probably run by the government or somebody that's paid by the government. And it's to give you a tiny little bit of flat earth truth and then a bunch of nonsense. And it's to make people that, when Google feeds you that in your search results, you'll look at it and go, oh, flat earth is stupid. And then you'll discount it and you'll never really look at it. Look at it again. And that's the plan. That's why Obama mentioned the Flat Earth Society a half a dozen times in his speeches when he wasn't mispronouncing his wife's name by calling him Michael. Okay.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of psyops going on. And for those of you that think that you've lost your mind by having me on your show, I offer 3 Bitcoins. It's about $100,000 for one globe proof. But I have to warn you, if you try to find it, you're going to end up being a flat earther. Okay. And if you try to Google flat earth, you're going to get confused. You're going to get upset. You're not going to find anything good. You're going to find all disinformation. But why does YouTube hide flat earth from you? They'll serve you anything else, aliens and angels and demons and fairies and whatever else, but flat earth, they can't mention that. They can't let you find the real information on that. And the best place to find it is flatearthdave.com. I have everything's linked there. We're having a big conference, by the way, coming up October 21st and 22nd in Las Vegas. It's called Flattoberfest. You can find it at flatearthdave.com. Anybody listening, you should come.
Yeah. I have a friend in LA. He wanted to go. He was a little unhappy with the price point because he wanted to bring people. Like, he wanted to bring people that weren't flat earthers. And, I explained to him, shout out Milton. I was like, it's expensive. You got to have all the speakers. But he was a little unhappy about the price. But
well, I mean, the price, I think it's like $250, something like that. But it's a 2-day conference in Las Vegas, and Karen, who runs it, is probably going to lose her shirt on the cost, because you have to rent the place, you have to have insurance, you have to have a video wall. It's incredible. I'm surprised it's only $250. So.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's worth it to go see all the speakers, to see you there. And it's funny, I want to bring up, because we talked about the Flat Earth Society, and the one thing that Professor Dave said, he admitted that the government puts out loads of propaganda, but then when you're arguing or talking, he's like, Google it, Google it, Google it. It's like, you just admitted that there's so much propaganda, and you're sending people to the number one main propaganda tool, and it's an oxymoron.
I know he is an oxymoron. So I don't like even addressing him, because he won't debate us live. He had me on. I actually thought that the guy was honestly looking for truth, and I just realized that he's a paid or possessed shill. And so we have Austin Whitsitt, who can get into all of the gritty details that he likes, but he will not accept a moderated debate with Austin. So that just goes to show you who he really is. So he was doing videos getting just a couple hundred or 1,000 views, and then he did an anti-flat Earth video and he got millions of views and he made a lot of money. And so literally he's paid and possessed.
Absolutely. And, they always go back to the, pizza planet. And they like to say this pizza planet going through space, but space isn't what they say it is. So it's just,
we're not a flat disk floating in space, but he'll constantly straw man us, saying that, we're a flat disk in space, and where's your edge? And how come you can't take a picture of it? How would you take a picture of the flat Earth if we can't go to space because it doesn't exist? How would you take a picture? I mean, go outside, take a picture. There's your picture of flat Earth. Okay? Go take a picture of the ocean. There's your flat Earth. There is no curvature, no measurable curvature anywhere. You may think you see it, but you're seeing a fisheye lens, or you're not realizing that you see in a circle. If you're out in the middle of the ocean, perfectly calm, and you're on a tiny little island, there's no trees, and you can look 360, there's no clouds, no humidity, no nothing. Right? The limit of your vision, your horizontal eye zone, is at X distance, 50 miles, 10 miles, 3 miles, 100 miles, don't care. But it's the same in all directions. Now, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Now, connect all those points along the flat plane, and you've just drawn a circle where you're at the center of the circle. Okay? And so when they see that circle of vision, they think that's the curve of a globe, but it's not. It's just the circle of your vision.
Yeah. Yeah, and I liked your argument where you were showing that the south, if you're wherever you are, if you're looking away from north, in every direction south, and it made perfect sense. It was just a great argument, and
nobody. A lot of people, even some of the globe trolls out there, just shows you how unresearched they are. There was one, I don't want to mention his name, but a disgusting troll, and he was arguing with Jaron that no, east and west are not circles, okay, on a globe. And we finally drilled it in his head. And he's like, I guess they are. So somebody that's, fighting against flat Earth for years and doesn't know that east and west are circles on a globe, doesn't know that you have to constantly correct to the north, right? When you're going, like if you left California and you head west, if you don't keep correcting to the north, you're heading south. Okay. If you leave Connecticut and head east, if you don't correct to the left, to the north, you're heading south. And he didn't understand that. And finally, when he understood it, here's the problem though. In the south, if the earth was a globe, when you head west, you'd have to correct to the south, not to the north. But there's no proof that that happens. As a matter of fact, there's testimony from many ship's captains that say whenever they're going east or west in the southern oceans, they always have to correct to the north. Well, that's not how a ball should work, but that is exactly how a flat earth should work.
Absolutely. And I have a young daughter, and I'm divorced, and I try to, my ex-wife thinks I'm crazy. And so my daughter's going to Disney next month. And I said, hey, listen, when you pass him by the pilot, ask him real quick. And she's like, Mom, we'll get mad. I'm like, ask the pilot if the earth's flat. He'll tell you.
Maybe. I mean, he might or he may not. There's a lot of pilots are just completely ignorant to it. They just get in the plane, they take off, the autopilot flies, they read their book, they do whatever, and then they land the plane. And they don't know where they're going. They're flying straight and level over an Earth plane. There's no adjustment for curvature, Coriolis, or anything else like that. And for those people that say that, the plane has a device that does that, not true. There is a device that no one's allowed to look at, but planes have flown without them for years. And recently, when there was a broken one and it wasn't replaceable, there wasn't a one to replace, they never have to make any adjustments. So it proves that it's just a nonsense box to keep people mesmerized.
Yeah, and I seen a video where there was a woman pilot, and she was trying to explain to people, and during her presentation, she realized in the middle, like, that she's not nosing down, that you'd have to nose down, and like you can see her, like she realized that the earth was flat. And it's a great video.
On my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app that you can find at flatearthdave.com, on the frequently asked questions page, under the section are all pilots and scientists in on it. There's a ton of videos, but there's a new one that's 3 hours long. It's 27 pilots admitting the earth is flat. So I don't know how many more you need when they explain why they believe it's flat, how they know it's flat, how they know it's not a spinning ball. I mean, it's crazy to think that you could land on a runway on a spinning ball. Imagine a runway on the down in Ecuador, on the equator, that's oriented north to south. That means that runway is moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour. But Dave, you're already moving that speed because you're on the earth. Okay. Well, how about an airplane that takes off from the North Pole? Well, that airplane isn't moving at all. It's just turning around once every 24 hours. It's making a circle on an axis. So it's not have any sideways momentum. So how do you fly from the North Pole to Ecuador and then gain that 1,000 mile an hour of sideways Earth movement? You can't. Earth doesn't move. Airplane flies over the Earth plane, not air globe, not air curve, not sea curve, sea level. Okay. There's no way the plane could make up that sideways turn. But Dave, the air is moving and it's slowly speeding up sideways as you go. That's not true, because there's air currents that go 200-300 miles an hour against the spin, with the spin of the earth, outrunning the alleged spin of the earth. There's air currents. Let me say it again. Over 200 miles an hour at like 45,000 feet that are going in the same direction the earth is allegedly spinning. That means it's outrunning the spin of the earth. Okay. And there's other areas where it's going in the opposite direction. Okay. So air moves freely. And that's another question. Why doesn't air fill the available space above it? Right. And all they can say is gravity. Right. But that's can totally be proven not to be true.
Yeah. And I love the Flat Earth app. I use it all the time. I paid the money so that I can message people. I've made friends in my area who are like-minded. And I definitely suggest, if you don't have the app, go get the app. It's worth the price. It's like $2, and it's a great app. It's a great tool.
It's a one-time charge of $3. And then if you want the subscription, which you don't need, but it would be great if you had it, it's $11 a year. Okay? $11 a year. Have you ever bought somebody a drink at a bar or a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. It's more than $11. Okay. And that's one drink and it's gone. All right. So anyone that complains about that, maybe truth isn't for you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth it. I mean, just the amount of people I've met in my area, the groups that I'm in.
Have you updated the app with the new features from the other day?
I don't think I did yet. Today was my day off, but I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, so it's got a whole like Facebook feel, but not Facebook, where you can make friends with people, the extensive profiles, you can put in all your information, you can put in search words. So people, hey, I need a chef in the lower Connecticut area. You type in chef Connecticut, and anyone that has that in their profile, they'll show up, and now you can hire flat earth people. If I want to go to Florida, I type in real estate Florida. Boom, I just get Justin Harvey. Look, there's a flat earther that I want to do my business with. We only want to work and talk and play with other flat earthers. So this app is going to bring people together. And another good thing that is, we're adding tons and tons of new images to the image section, but now we have a search feature. So you don't have to scroll and scroll and scroll. Let's say you're talking to somebody, you say the moon landing's fake, and they're like, what do you mean? Just type in LEM or moon landing or rover, and all of the pictures that go to that will come up immediately, and you can look at them. Or if somebody's talking to you and like, well, what does the flat earth look like? What? Show me your map. You can just type in map and then pick one of those. And if you're not in front of the person, you could share it with them and all sorts of stuff. So it's the most effective tool that everybody carries with them all the time, which is amazing. And that's why I promote it. That's why I made it. And it's bypassing the algorithm that's hiding it. Also in there, there's 2 biblical sections. Have you found that, I assume?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
So there's a button. It's the more resources page. It's the button that looks like a spider web, and then you'll see biblical flat Earth. Great videos in there. And then there's a flat Earth 24/7 channel that just streams flat Earth biblical stuff all 24/7. And that alone, right there. And I say, if you're a Bible believer or a Bible disbeliever, you need to watch those videos either way because they're amazing. Yeah. The first video in the biblical section is called Dear Pastor. It's by my co-host from the Flat Earth podcast, Matt Long, who comes from the biblical side. And he basically made a plea to pastors about they need to learn about flat Earth, and he's willing to teach them. And it's a great video. It's 7 minutes long. Watch it. It's a fantastic video.
Well, I'll be definitely watching it after. That's a great segue. I was going to ask you, so how do you feel on God in the creator? Like, all the truth, and like you're the head guy of Flat Earth. Do you believe in a creator or God?
Well, I'm definitely not the head guy. I might be doing the most interviews and have the loudest mouth. And it's all a group effort. And by the way, other people, even the ones that hate me, they all help me. They don't, because we all share content. Excuse me, anyone that puts out a good video, I feature it on the app. So your question is, what's my faith? Now, I'm very careful on speaking about this, but I'm happy to speak about it. So don't worry about asking. Because I used to, before Flat Earth, I would be, researching, other deceptions on society. And I'm listening to a couple of guys. I'm like, these guys are great. I'm taking notes. And I'm like, these are great. And all of a sudden they say, well, let's pray. Let's go, the Bible. And they go to the Bible, they go to the Quran or whatever. And I'd be like, oh, bunch of religious fanatics. And I tear up the pages, throw them in the garbage and unsubscribe, because I was the guy that didn't believe in any of that. I believed in evolution. I believed in the Big Bang Theory, which is ridiculous, kind of embarrassed to say it. And I know that there's lots of people out there that are like that now to this very day. So when I started looking into Flat Earth, if I immediately saw 1 or 2 channels that were that, I'm like, oh, Flat Earth is just a religious psyop. And I wouldn't have looked any further. So what I say is, I found Flat Earth by trying to debunk it. And then that made me realize that there is no other option than this place is intelligently designed. Well, if it's intelligently designed, that means there's a creator. Like if you walk up into a giant building in a 50, 100-story building, that there's a designer, that there's a creator, that it's intelligently designed, that it didn't just come up out of the ground because of evolution or, whatever. So once you understand what this place isn't, which is a big, big ball, that it's intelligently designed. Therefore, there's a creator. And that's where I kind of try to draw the line, because I find it my job is to put that step in front of you, to go from atheist to whatever religion that you want to, or faith or whatever. Sometimes that step is too high. So you have to get people to a mid step that is there's no other option than there is a creator. Then I say it's your journey from there to find your relationship with the creator. Okay. And that's the best way to do it, because there's Christians out there that are saying, if you don't tell them Jesus this and Jesus that, you're going to hell and they're going to hell, blah, blah. And all they do is push new people away. Now, somebody that's already a Christian be like, yeah, oh, that guy, I love that guy. That guy's great. He's right. Absolutely. That's fine. That's fine. If that's what you wanted, that's where you are. That's fine. But to the person that I used to be, you lost them. They're gone. Okay. Yep. They're gone. So I draw the line there. And I could tell you this.
And I respect that.
And every Christian out there that tells me what I need to believe or what they think what I believe, they're all wrong. They have no idea what I believe. They have no idea what I do. They have no idea. Okay. And so my message to them is mind your own business, set a good example yourself, and let other people see what you're doing. There's people, rest in God rest his soul, is Rob Skiba. You got Robbie Davidson, you have Rick Hummer, you have Effed Up World. These are all very strong Christians that are out there, and they've never once told me or anybody that they're going to hell if they don't accept Jesus Christ. Whether they believe it or not doesn't matter. Okay? Yeah. They never once said that. They set an example, and then that's how you get people to follow you. You just get people to grow in your direction or whatever it is. So people setting a good example is what makes the world go round, which it doesn't go round. It just
and I respect that, and I agree with you 100%, and I appreciate you talking about that. How do you feel about the firmament then?
Oh, I think now that's another good thing. Anything above where we can reach or beyond 60 degrees south, where we're not allowed to go independently, is speculation. I think that there is a firmament. I think that, and because of the evidence that I've seen, because of the Go Fast rocket, because of lots of things and logical thinking, and a NASA whistleblower that I was in communication with for a while, I believe that around 72 miles high, it becomes plasma, if you will, and then it becomes thicker, maybe water, and then it becomes solid after that. And that's what the NASA whistleblower said. And I had already been thinking about that. The Go Fast rocket kind of proved that it hit a thicker plasma. And it also proved that the Earth is flat because it could see the moon, which is over Australia at that time, which it would be below the ball. But it saw it, in Arizona. It was in New Mexico, Arizona. It was took off in Arizona, and it could see the moon above Australia. Well, that's a ball, right? If you're on a basketball, that's the Earth, and you're on top of the basketball, Go Fast rocket is a millimeter above that basketball, and the moon is on the floor below the basketball. Okay, could you see it? Nope, you can't. But we did see it. Earth is flat. Exactly. We can see too far. Again.
Yeah, that blew my mind when I watched that. Like I said, I literally started hyperventilating. I went outside and I literally was in the presence of God. It blew my mind. So what is your opinion on, how all the numerology with the distances and the spinning, it's all, demonic 666, like all the numerology seems to be 666.
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds of that? I mean, there's so many. The Earth's axis is inclined. People say it's 34 degrees. Well, it's actually 66.6. Okay, 66.6 degrees is the tilt. The Earth orbits the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. The Earth's circumference is 600 times 6 times 6. Excuse me. The speed of sound is 666 knots per second. The force of gravity on Earth is 666 newtons. The Arctic and Antarctic circles are exactly 66.6 degrees, right? It goes on and on. Peggy Whitson, the woman on the space station, was up there for 666 days. The distance of the moon is 6 times 60 times 666. Diameter of the moon is 6 times 6 times 60, right?
Yeah.
It goes on and on and on. Right?
On. Yeah. Absolutely. So, like all the old civilizations knew the Earth was flat. and we would be, they were teaching that the Earth was flat in the early 1900s. Who came up with sphere Earth?
There's a lot of fictitious characters from the past. The big one is Galileo with his telescope, and he was mapping out Mars. His telescope was made from friggin' bamboo. It had a magnification of like 14x, and I think he got it up to 20x. My iPhone does more than that. My P1000, it goes to 128 zoom, 128 zoom. Today's optics blow away what he has, and we can never see all of the stuff that he said he saw. So I don't even think Galileo existed. I think he's a made-up character. I think that Aristophanes was a real mathematician, but never did that experiment. And they just assigned it to him in the mid 1900s because there's no books before that mention the most famous experiment ever that allegedly proved the Earth is a globe, but they don't realize that it actually works perfectly on a flat Earth, right? Aristophanes with his sticks and shadows experiment. The funny thing is, no one's ever seen, he had to assume sun rays come in parallel because the sun's so far away. No one's ever seen sun rays come in parallel. They splay out, which is called crepuscular rays. And back then, they thought the Earth, whether it was a globe or flat, was geocentric. They believed the Earth was a geocentric globe, which means that the sun goes around the Earth. How can you have a sun at an infinite distance? That means it's so far away that the rays look parallel, circling a tiny little pebble planet, right? That makes no sense. Like, what is making the sun go? So they give you this stuff that people just don't even bother thinking about because they were told, oh, it's in a textbook. I memorized it. The teacher gave me an A. I got a star, and I graduated. And they put a Freemason friggin' square and on my head, and now I'm be a perfect little slave. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is, like, in the debate, the guy's like, well, where's the sun? Is it in the clouds? Yes, it is. You can see it. It's not, thousands, millions of miles away. It is you do see it in the clouds.
Well, then how come airplanes don't hit it? That's the question that they throw at you. And the answer is the sun is in an apparent position, provably so. It's in our azimuthal grid of vision. As I move sideways, forward, or backwards, the sun moves with me, and I see it in a different place. If you and I were at the beach, 10 feet apart, a mile apart, doesn't matter, and we're watching the sunset over the water, you're going to see the sun walking on the water. Interesting. The sun is walking on the water, coming right to your feet. I'm going to see it walking on the water, coming right to my feet. So one might say that each of us is having a personal relationship with the sun, but we're seeing that sun in a different position. Okay. We're seeing it in a different position, each one of and that's because it's kind of like a rear projector screen. Right? You're looking at something through, you're seeing on a rear projection, you see it in a different position. So,
yeah, I agree. So why do you think, like, my opinion is, obviously, I believe they changed it to take people away from God. And because I fell into that trap, like, I was watching Ancient Aliens, and I was I believe space was real. So it worked on me. I lost some of my faith because of that reason. In your opinion, why do you think they lie about it? Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, it's all about control. And one of the ways they control us is hiding God. Because if everybody knew the Earth was flat and that we are here with God's free will on this abundant Earth that has free energy and complete and total abundance where there's no overpopulation or anything like that, then they lose control. But if they have us scared, thinking that an asteroid could hit, that aliens could invade us, that there's no other place to explore, they have total control over your mind. And if you don't know that you're planted on this world and that our thoughts manifest and create a reality, they don't want us to know. And most people, even a lot of truthers, don't know it, that your thoughts create your reality. Well, Dave, how come I don't have $1 million? I'm like, because you're whining about not having $1 million. That's why. Okay. So, it's your thoughts create your reality. And when you're connected to this realm, you can have incredible manifestation powers. I also believe that the more people there are, the more the collective mind works and becomes more powerful. One person alone is weak, but put another person with them, now they're 10 times more powerful. Put 10 people with them, they're like 1,000 times more powerful. And I think that they know that they have to keep the world population low, because if there's 100 billion people on here, it's no threat to the Earth. right? 100 billion people could probably live in the United States easily. Okay, easily. Um, and if it gets back to that numbers, I think that the numbers used to be tens, if not hundreds of billions of people. That the collective mind really opens up. You've heard of the Akashic records or the records of everything. I believe that
Yep.
exists, but we've lost our connection to it. And when you have more people, the collective mind helps people. Now, there are people that connect to the Akashic records and get all sorts of information, and I am witness to it myself. I have a Tesla coil that a guy made from information he got by meditating, and it's crazy. It's crazy good. So
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. Like, I grew up in South Boston, Massachusetts, and it was I had a tough upbringing, and I carried that baggage with me for a long time. And about 4 months ago, I started changing my thinking, and things used to go wrong for me all the time. But I was, like you said, I was always whining. I was always negative. I was always comparing. But once I stopped doing that, like, my podcast is growing. Things are just falling into place. I'm a lot more happier. So
yeah,
I agree. I agree with you fully on that.
totally. And the jealousy should be removed from, or envy, both of those should be removed from your vocabulary, from your thoughts. Because let's say that you're striving for something, for whatever it is, and then you see somebody else that has reached that. A lot of people are like, oh, I hate, they're all jealous, right? All you're doing is becoming your own roadblock. When you see somebody behaving the way that you want to be, something you need to appreciate and truly deep down inside be happy for them and share their joy like it's yours. Okay. And
Yes.
then it becomes yours. But when you focus on envy and jealousy and lack and scared and all the other stuff that they program us with, you literally create that reality for yourself. The biggest conspiracy in the world is that the world, the realm, this place is conspiring to deliver all of your thoughts to you, all of them. So if you watch some crappy television and stuff, you're thinking about that stuff and you're confusing the heck out of your manifestation tool. And it's bringing all sorts of, bad information out into the ether. If your thoughts were pure and clean and beautiful, you're only going to bring those things into your life.
Absolutely. And I agree. Like, I stopped watching the news a long time ago, but I don't listen to negative music no more. I don't watch negative movies because, again, like you said, it just lowers your vibration and it's just not worth it. You're better off letting it all go, and then you can be happy and manifest happiness. And like you just said.
Yep.
So, and it's funny you talk about fear because, again, I was one of those people. You'd get those articles. Oh, a meteor just went by the earth. And I was always so fearful. But, that's what people will say too. They'll go, well, what about meteorites? What are meteorites? I've never seen one, so I don't even know if they're real. What are your opinion on meteorites?
Well, the meteorites that hit the earth are the meteorites that we see, the meteorite showers. The meteorite showers that come every year at the same time, like the one in August, like the third week in August. The story is that a comet went by, and in August, second week or third week in August, whatever, we go through that tail. And the little dust particles come in, crash into our atmosphere and burn up. And that's cool, but they don't realize that last August we were 4.4 billion miles back there in space. What is that trail following us? Is that trail like following because the sun is moving 4.4 billion miles a year, never to return to where it was before, and that trail is somehow following us. A lot of people can't even understand what I just said. Their brain short circuit. It's ridiculous. But when you watch meteors, and I used to love them, watching them, you never see one come up from the horizon. You only see them going down. Okay. So what does that mean? Like if I see one going down, somebody in South America that sees that same one, it would be coming up from their horizon, right? Never ever see them going down. And then if you want to talk about the big craters like Arizona and stuff, they're all perfect circles. They're bubbles from within the earth. On the app, on the frequently asked question page, on the bottom row, there's a button called Meteors and Asteroids. Watch those videos because YouTube won't let you see them by searching for them. And then you'll understand what these craters are. They come from within the earth. They're methane bubbles and other.
Absolutely. So go get that app. I'm telling you, I love it. And those new features, I'm going to check them out right after this. So the people that say flat Earth, globe, what does it matter? What do you say to those people?
Well,
Why does it matter?
if you remember the movie Plato's allegory of the cave, it's people that lived in the cave and they just saw these shadow figures, and that was their whole world. And they're like, "Oh, what does it matter?" You're trapped. You don't know that there's more of everything. You don't know. They're hiding free energy technology. Tesla was doing this broadcast of free energy, and J.P. Morgan and the other controllers at the time, bankers, they're like, well, how are we going to charge people for this? He goes, you can't. It's free. It comes out of the earth. I'm transmitting it. And they shut them down. And they put in power that you have to pay for. So what if you had a device the size of a roll of quarters that could power your car forever and heat and air condition your house forever? And you never have to pay for those things again. That would change your life. That's just a start right there. What if you realize that you're a true, powerful being that is at the center of creation rather than a microscopic speck on a basketball flying through an infinite space vacuum? That changes the way that you think. That changes your view of the world, and it changes your manifestation ability. So what if there's more land? What if what if there's 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 other continents with other people living on them? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know, but I think there is more land beyond Antarctica. I think that there's maybe a minimum of 50 other continents beyond Antarctica. And people, well, wouldn't it be cold out there without the sun? Well, I think that the sun, as I said, it's the sun that we see, I think it's above or within the firmament. And so we see it in our personal atmospheric dome. So if you go out there, you're going to see it there also. It could just be the shape of the sky. I don't know. There could be another sun out there. I don't know. Or there could be nothing. I don't know. But there could be other continents here in our Southern Ocean that GPS won't let us get to. Right?
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know what's going on. So that alone, on the app, yesterday's featured video was a 15-minute video. It's called "Why the Lie." It's actually it's a top video. Excuse me. It's the top video on the frequently asked questions page on the "Why the Lie" button. Watch that video. It's such a good one. And that'll get you started on your journey, because why the lie is a big question. Yeah, it's the top one. It's the top video. It's got a girl with her finger on her chin going with a question look on her face, and it's got a puzzle piece. And watch that video, and then watch the videos that are after it, and then you'll know. The why is huge. Hiding God, hiding more resources, hiding free energy, keeping you under control, keeping you in a prison. Okay. Another example. Here's another analogy. Imagine this. Imagine a building. It's hard to imagine, but you can do it. That's 200 miles long by 200 miles long and 200 stories high. Okay. Inside of this building, besides housing, supermarkets, ballparks, theaters, gyms, there's trains, electric trains, there's cars, right? 200 miles. It's huge, right? There's roads and there's parks and there's everything. Okay. And you live in this building, and you were born in this building, and you're born near the center of the building. And you never, a lot of people never travel 50 miles from their home. It's crazy. There's a lot of people, people live on islands, and there's a lot of people that are from small towns that just never leave. And let's say you say, you know what, I want to go exploring. And you start going out, away from the center. And when you get about a mile, you can't see what's at the last mile. There's a UN guard there that says, sorry, this is it. You have to turn around. You have to go the other way. You're not allowed to go over there. There's nothing to see. It's just dark. It's just dark, and there's no food, and there's no bathrooms. There's nothing. And so you're like, okay, and you're never allowed to the top floor, but you're only living in this building. And somebody goes to you and goes, hey, Dave, I think there's more. I don't think it's just this building. And you'd be like, well, what does it matter? What difference does it make? Right? What difference does it make? Yeah. You can't fathom what difference it makes. It makes the biggest difference of everything. And people, the other argument people have is there's all this the horrible stuff going on in the world with children and, sex trafficking and wars and everything, right? Why does flat earth matter? Because this is how they get away with it. You're lost. You lost your bearings. You don't know where you are. You don't know your true power. You're allowing all of this stuff to happen. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, so the why is the greatest question of all. Get my app, watch the why the lie stuff. It'll change your life. It's worth the cost of the app right there. Okay.
It really will. And honestly, like I can't even tell people how much my life's changed just in 6 months. Like I said, I was trapped in fear. I was always playing the poor why me game. And ever since I let that go, my life has changed so much. Once I realized it was flat, everything made sense in my mind. And, I'm in a great place today, and it's directly because of God and flat earth. That's just the truth.
You know what? I remember times where I had to go somewhere. I got like 45 minutes to kill. What do? I would sit and flip the channels on the TV. I would just, and I would stare at the wall. I was like, flat earthers are never bored. That's another word to get rid of. Boredom.
Yeah.
Never bored, right? Like if you got insomnia, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Great. You got 5 hours before you have to talk to anybody. Okay. You can do some research. And here's the thing. There's so much good content out there that's being hidden from you, but it's all served to you on the app. There's so much good content out there that I get listeners send me stuff all the time. I can't watch it all. I listen to everything at 2x speed. I still can't watch it all. I'm like, oh man, that looks really good. Delete. I have to delete it because there's no time. I don't have time. Right. So there is so much. This world offers so much. It's unbelievable. And when you start going down the rabbit holes of what was here before us, we think we're at the pinnacle of intelligence in this world. We are literally in the middle of the movie Idiocracy. Okay. 150 years ago, the world was way more advanced than we are now. Wait a minute. What about the Wild West? And that, all of the places when you see, hey, this city was founded or this building was founded or this town was founded, look it up. It means found. It was there already from the previous civilization.
Yeah. No, I agree 100% with the World's Fairs and stuff. There's no way that's paper mache. There's no way they built that. And it's funny, then they burn it all down. So, I agree fully.
Don Levy just put out a video where I think it was in San Francisco. I think it was California. And he found an old photo, but way in the distance, you could see the buildings from the World's Fair. And it was from 1814 or 1850 or somewhere around there. Well, the World's Fair wasn't built until 1925. Okay, that's what they said. But there's a photo with it in there. Okay,
wow,
crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Hey, I was thinking flat Earth. I see people changing, and everything we talked about manifesting. I'm starting to see the change because I listen to a ton of podcasts, and it gives me hope. What if we did if all of us got together in different cities and plant a flat earth day, say in April, and we all work together and we all organize in our area and try to have a flat earth day?
Well, we've hijacked Earth Day is now Flat Earth Day. So just use Earth Day because that is Flat Earth Day. And T-shirts and bumper stickers and people just, hey, well, happy Flat Earth Day. And it's kind of fun. We've hijacked it and it's now ours. So deal with it, Globies. And there's a lot of people on the app. You can send out a broadcast message. I'm trying to go to a meetup in New York, in upstate New York, which isn't too far from me, maybe 25 minutes this Sunday. And I'm going to meet some random people. There might only be 6 people or 10 people or 20 people, but it's going to be fun. Even if you set a meetup up and one person that you don't know shows up, you now have an event. It's an event, right? We did it here. I live in a populated area right on the edge of New York City, and we had about 80 people show up. Okay. And using the app to reach out to people. So, learn how to use the app. There's an instructions video on the web button page, top row. It says instructions. And I think it's the second video. It's like a 2-hour video where Jaron from Jaronism and I walk through all the features on the app. It's actually outdated now because there's new features, but It'll teach you how to do stuff like that, and you reach new people. Like, just look around you, look at the dots, and go, hey, let me see this person. Now you can look at their profile. You can see what they posted on the wall. You can see what they're interested in, what they do, whatever they put in there. And you're like, hey, I need to reach out to this person. Hey, Johnny, Sally, you want to meet for a coffee at CFCF or whatever your coffee shop is, or whatever. And then you'll meet somebody, and guess what? I've never met a blue dot I don't like.
Absolutely. And I love that feature. I use it, I use that to help grow my podcast. You could send out a group message, you could pick the distance around you, and I love it, and I've met a lot of good friends there. I'll leave with this question because we're getting close to the end. Your opinion on NASA. You want to talk about NASA for a few minutes and your opinion on it?
Yeah. So NASA, 1959, the Project High Jump, where they went over Antarctica and said, Admiral Byrd got on the news and said, they found land bigger than the United States on the other side of the pole. Well, that would be where Australia is. Okay. So I think Australia would know about this continent bigger than America. Okay. Filled with resources. And then all of a sudden, the Antarctic Treaty goes into place and NASA is formed. We're going to the moon. Okay. We're going to the moon, when other scientists at the time are saying, the moon is plasma. You can't go to the moon, right? They're like, no, we're going to the moon. It's a rock in space. And they shut everybody up that was saying anything different. And so NASA is not a space agency. NASA is actually the World Intelligence Agency. The CIA reports to NASA. The FBI reports to NASA. The KGB reports to NASA. The CCP reports to NASA. NASA is the World Intelligence Agency. Okay, they're the ones keeping the psyop going. We're all in it together. Russia, China, Afghanistan, they're all in it together. Maybe not Afghanistan. Maybe there are some rogue states, but all of the big countries, the UK, they're all in it together. NASA is never been to space, provably so, 1,000 times over. In the app, on the FE movies section on the web button page, the spider web page, it's called FE Movies. There's a series there. It's called Level, The Next Level, and then Level with Me. Watch Level with Me first. Watch them in reverse order, and you'll learn about NASA and how they faked the space, the Challenger explosion, and all sorts of stuff. And I'm in that movie, so it's kind of fun.
Dave, I really appreciate your time. It's been a great conversation. Everyone, thanks for listening. It's been a great conversation, and I really appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you so much.
More thing, you'll get a pop-up on the app. I have a third movie that I'm in that just came out called Origins Untold, and it's about a guy. Now, this is a totally different flat Earth movie. It's about a guy that heard about the Earth being flat and decided to travel around the country to talk to prominent flat Earthers and find out what's going on. And it has a bit of a Christian theme to it there, because there's the Flat Earth Brothers are in it. And it's got a great message for all people, and it's a different way to look at it. We had a movie premiere at a physical theater a couple of months ago, and a couple of people came not knowing what it was about. Then they heard it was about flat Earth. They're like, "Oh, I'm leaving," but they ended up staying. And at the end, they were like, "That was amazing! Oh my God, where can I get more information?" So it's a killer movie, and you can find it in the banner will be, by the time this comes out, the banner will be on my website, flatearthdave.com, and it's streaming now. Yeah, it's for purchase. It's $5.99. Okay, again, you can't buy.
What's the name of it again?
It's called Origins Untold, and it's they're trying to get national distribution on it, but the distributors want to see that some people are willing to buy it. So we're passing it around. We want as many people to rent it as possible. It's $5.99. It's a no-brainer. Skip your coffee tomorrow morning. Your Splenda latte, whatever, and not you specifically, and rent the movie, watch it with the whole family, watch it with your significant other, watch it with your kids. It's really well done. It's amazing. It's amazing, a great movie, and it's going to wake up a lot of people, especially, it's in one film festival now, but especially if it gets major distribution. So let's make that happen. Anybody that wants a good movie, it's worth the $5.99. It's worth way more than that.
And that's on the app? I could rent it on the app.
When you open the app, you're going to get a pop-up that tells you, if on the app, if you hit the shopping cart button, there's a bunch of stuff where you get Flat Earth merchandise. The first button is Origins Untold. It'll show you how to get to it. If you forget all of that, or you don't have the app, go to flatearthdave.com after today. What's today? Today's Thursday. By Friday, by tonight, it'll be on. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Flatearthdave.com.
All right.
It's the Origins Untold. You have to scroll down a little bit, and click it and check it out and watch it, and you'll love it. It's a great movie. Great movie.
Well, I'll be watching it tomorrow for sure, 100%.
Yep. All right. Any final questions?
No, you flat smacked them. I loved it. It was a great conversation. Thank you so much, Dave.
The last thing I'll say is don't believe anything I say. If you think what I'm saying is crazy, try to come up with a globe proof. I thought I had them. I thought other people were crazy. When people mentioned flat Earth to me, I banned them from our social media and told them never to stop listening to our podcast. I said, you're too dumb to listen to a comedy conspiracy podcast. And then I looked. Then I tried to debunk it. And that's what I challenge you to do, everyone to do. And when you find out all of the stuff I'm saying is 100% true, you'll find out I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a truth forecaster. So there you go.
Absolutely. That's the best way to do it. Don't listen to us, because when you see it with your own eyes and it clicks in your brain, it's easier. Definitely do the research.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.
You all love the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. The best tool to show your friends and strangers how the Flat Earth actually works. But are you ready for a Flat Earth app game changer? A new feature has been added. But first, a reminder of some of the existing features. Video of the day. World time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add a countdown to your next big date. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth. Top 21 frequently asked questions with quick pop-up video answers. Access to the best photos and gifts at your fingertips. Flat Earth books and merchandise, and more. Now, the game-changer upgrade we've always dreamed of having. After a year in development, our app just went next level. You're now able to find Flat Earth app users near you. See where they are and send them an instant message in the app. Instantly arrange for a Flat Earther meetup. When activated, blue dots mark the location of the app users near you. You have 3 choices on showing your location. PP, to pinpoint. This marks your exact location. CC, for city center, which will place you within a few miles of your current location.
It has now moved me to a location just, close to where I am. So people go, hey, you are near me, but I'm paranoid. I don't want them knowing where I am. So there you go.
Or turn off, which removes you from the map altogether.
Yeah, and when you do turn it off, you don't get to see any of the dots now.
Correct.
Use it when traveling, or when you're out for a day at the beach, or while eating out somewhere. Find out where other flat earthers are and connect.
Somebody said they're already doing a meetup, and then one girl, she found another girl very short distance from her. They're meeting this weekend. They'll probably end up driving to Flattoberfest together because they're both going. They're like, hey, let's carpool.
Find like-minded Flat Earth app users and regain your sanity. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our flat Earth actually works.